Hey guys, Master 51 here, or 1911 man, here to do another video. Sorry you guys haven't seen me in a while. College definitely takes a lot out of you. I haven't really felt the need to do a video, but I finally got a gun repaired that had some issues. It wasn't even really that, it was just due to a high round count. You guys saw a teaser of it, and it is the KWA M9 PTP. This video isn't really going to be a review. It's just basically going to be every reason I love this gun. This is literally the most comfortable gun I own. I own the HK45 as well. You guys will see a video on that. That is an incredibly comfortable gun, but for whatever reason, this happens to be quite a bit fatter. And it just is so much more nice, and it feels really nice and comfortable for me. Even when I shoot left-handed, it's a very, very comfortable gun. It just fills my hand in perfectly. It's a very natural point and shoot gun. So if I ever do Airsoft IDPA or IPSC kind of thing, or even when I got to shoot one of my friends' Taurus PT92s, an early model, and it was about the same. I mean, it felt really nice in the hand. It pointed very naturally, not too terribly fat. A lot of people complain because it's a very fat gun. I'm going to add that, actually. I'm going to chalk that up to comfort. It just, bigger guns in my hand just feel really nice. I really liked the F&P 45 when I shot it. It was a very nice shooting gun. But I'm going to talk specifically to this gun, as this is an amazing gun, especially if you want to just get into competition really quickly. And you just want to run stock, or just stock division, or whatever the hell that division is called. It's a very comfortable shooter. It's amazing how KWA designed this gun. What they did, I understand the polymer barrel. That was so that it didn't crash into the NS2 system and crack the barrel, or I mean hurt the blowback design. But what they did is they made an incredibly light slide on a nice heavy frame. Now, if you're taking this into a game, it's definitely a heavy gun. It's not light by any stretch of the imagination. It's a very, very heavy gun. There are many, many more light options that you could go to rather than this, especially with rounds count over this. I definitely feel like there are other better options. I love M9s to death. They're one of my favorite handguns. They're just great guns. One of the best things about this, other than the trigger or the feeling of the gun, this KWA just has one of the best triggers, especially for a double single gun. It's got a little bit of play, and then it's like a glass rod when you pull back. It's very nice. And then the reset is right there. It's amazing. It pushes your finger forward, and then it just gives a great reset. It's not very audible, not very tactile, but I like it a lot. What's great about the conjunction of the light slide and the polymer barrel is that's when you have a slide reciprocating, that's a mass going back and forth. So the heavier your slide, the more mass you get going back into you, which means your front sight and your rear sight, they get misaligned and you're off target. Even for airsoft guns, there's a bit of a problem with that. I have a WE SIG, probably about the same, or HK SIG, whatever you want to call them. I call it WE because it says WE on the box, so I'm going to call it WE. It's got a very, very heavy slide. I would never use that in competition, but this gun is amazing. The combination with a light slide, heavy frame, just makes it so it's a very, very straight shooter. Now, if you're a guy that really likes heavy, hard recoiling airsoft guns, I don't really understand that. I mean, you want to shoot someone, and I don't understand why you would want something that pulls your aim off of that person. I get the realism, but you're still trying to get hits, and I don't quite understand that, but whatever. That's not really the point, I guess. So, what makes this great is that marrying of a heavy frame and a light slide, especially with this polymer, being that it is not the Browning design, in that it has a lug that drops out of battery. When it goes out of battery, the barrel just goes straight back, which means, first of all, that's great for suppressors, but that's completely different. That's a completely different conversation. But it's great. It creates a very natural recoil impulse, And like I said, it's a very natural shooter, which means I can come up from low ready and just pop that target, and then I can keep moving, and my aim doesn't vary very much. And the way the grips are set up are just perfect. It's a big gun. I like it. And even in this airsoft format, it's a very nice shooter. So and then you also get the marrying of the NS2 system. It's very nice. I know that's pretty overplayed with the YouTube, the community of airsofters on YouTube with the NS2. I'm aware of that. It's kind of overplayed. Now, some problems with it, just really quickly, is the slide. The way the slide's set up. The one thing I really like about Taurus, or however the hell you want to say it, is it doesn't have safeties on the slide. So when I go to rack the gun, I might inadvertently activate those safeties, which is a big no-no because your gun goes to decock, and then you're just sitting there with a dead trigger, and it's not necessarily good, especially when in the competition when you have to start it on the table, and then sometimes you have to start on the table with hammer down, magazine out. You have to load the gun and then rack it. But if I turn the safety on and I'm sitting there with a dead trigger, I'm shit out of luck. So that's something I don't really like. Now, there's always a conversion I can do to this. I'll probably figure it out, but the guy I got this from stripped this screw for the right-handed safety, so I can't actually take it out. I'm probably going to have to get a replacement and drill that out, figure that out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the detent out, so this is a decock only. So if I do hit the safety when I go to rack it, all it will do is decock the gun as opposed to making it a dead trigger, so it just goes to double action, which I like anyway. It's an incredibly smooth double action. It's very nice. You can see I don't really flinch all that much. It's just very smooth. Now, obviously, this is one of my favorite guns, so I shoot it a lot. So, now when watching my videos personally, you need to take all my criticisms with a grain of salt, as I put a ridiculous amount of rounds out of my guns. You saw my PX4 torture test video. That's pretty much every outing I go to my backyard, and I put about I don't know. I don't even know how many times I shoot my gun. I just shoot them and shoot them and shoot them and shoot them. I got a comment a while back. The guy said their airsoft guns are not real guns, and I do put a lot of excess wear in these guns, and I like to test them. I like to show you guys the failing points. One of the faulty points with any double single action gun is the spring in here. I give that about 10,000 rounds. No, you know what? Take that back. Probably about 2,000 rounds before that goes. Then you got to replace it. I actually am going to be ordering like 3 or 4 of these trigger springs just in case. It's not that the gun's bad quality. It's just that gets a lot of usage, and me pulling the trigger that much doesn't really help. But it's definitely something you need to watch out for. But I want to show you this recoil impulse that I'm talking about. So you guys can see. It's just a very deliberate pulse back. It doesn't pull the muzzle very much. It's very nice. It's very consistent. It reloads very consistently. And it's very, very, very gas efficient. So you can see, obviously I shoot real guns a lot, so my recoil management's probably decently, it's probably half decent. I wouldn't say it's that good, but I mean, it just, on my iPhone, it actually just kind of looks like the slide's just going back, and I short stroked it because I pushed my thumb against the slide. Yeah, it doesn't look very bad at all. And then usually with slide lock, you get this weird pulse because there's nothing pushing the gun back forward, especially with a real gun. It's incredibly evident when your gun goes to slide lock. So you can see the muzzle bumps up a little bit and it doesn't go back down. So, but even then, that makes it so that you can transfer, or you can, sorry, excuse me, you can change targets very efficiently, and your gun doesn't hop around a lot. Now, normally, what I would tell you to do when your gun's hopping around a lot between targets, I'd use that to maximize your split times between targets. But, I mean, seeing as this is airsoft and you're not really getting a lot of recoil from a gun that you can use to hop over to the next target. My voice just cracked for some goddamn weird-ass reason. But I guess what I'm talking about is if you're shooting, I guess the Taurus I was shooting was a 9, so just use, say this gun has some decent amount of recoil. you pop off a target. Normally when you're shooting, you go bang, bang, and you're pushing it back down. Now with split times, what I like to do personally is I like to ride that recoil down to the next target, so I'm not down, so it's not bang, down, over. It's bang, bang. So I'm riding that recoil over. So that's, I guess, just what I meant. So yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing I would like to do is get better sights for this, or actually what I was thinking about doing was getting the Elite that KWA used to sell. Now it's just KSC. It's a great looking gun. It's got flat back strap. I don't know how I feel about that because this is really comfortable and great serrations on the back. It's very comfortable, very deliberate. It leaves nice marks on your hand. So I really like aggressive grips. It's very comfortable. I like to know I'm holding a gun. So I'm probably going to get that. It's a shorter outer barrel. It doesn't really adversely affect the inner barrel that much. It does take it down just that much, but with the engagement ranges I deal with like IPSC, it's negligible. It's not something necessarily that bad. And then it's got the nice bumpers on the bottom. It's a great looking gun. And then the biggest thing would be the sights. The sights are so much better on the Elite. It's crazy. This is pretty much a modification I do to all my guns. I black out the rear and magnify and kind of make the white dot bigger. I don't like my eyes competing for what sight I'm looking at, so my eye pops to the front sight immediately. And I like to index off the front sight when I aim, so that's just kind of what that means. So I'm going to try to show you the recoil impulse from an FPS view. I'm going to try to hold the gun relatively normally so you can see how well you can track that front sight when you're on target. It's almost like a red dot. It's just like bing, 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 bing. It's crazy. If I had like a mini plate rack, I'd try, but I'm not that fast, so, you know. So I'm going to try this. Forgive me for sucking, like a lot of crow, but okay, there. Yeah, you can see, you can track that. Even with offhand, like not even with that much support, I was able to keep that front sight tracked very well, so I could track it. And even at slide lock, you could see there was an awkward impulse, like I was referring to earlier. Pitched myself in the magazine. But you could definitely tell that it's just got a very natural point of aim. And you can see I actually can ride pretty high on the mini beaver tail back here, which is nice, coming from 1911s, as my name is 1911, man. I would like to think I shoot a good amount of 1911s. I don't know. But it's nice. It's funny that this is one of my favorite guns, and yet I'm 1911 man, and I love 1911s. So it's very nice. You can see the gun kind of sits relatively low in my hand, and it's very comfortable. So yeah, it's a high quality gun, guys. Definitely recommend it, and thanks for watching. Bye.